Hello and welcome to Easy English Stories. I'm so happy you're here today. Get ready for an exciting journey, because in this video, you'll not only hear a fun story, but you'll also have the chance to practice your listening skills and improve your English speaking. Today, we're going to use a powerful technique called shadowing. Shadowing is when you listen to a story or conversation and repeat everything you hear, trying to match the rhythm, sounds, and flow of the language. This technique is one of the best ways to improve your speaking skills quickly. How can you do it in this video? It's simple. First, pay close attention to the story. Then, go back and repeat each sentence after me, trying to sound as natural as possible. The more you practice every day, the faster your fluency will grow. Trust me, this will make a huge difference. Now, I have a question for you. Imagine you open your suitcase after a long trip, and instead of your clothes, you find something strange. How would you react? In today's story, this happens to our main character, and you won't believe what happens next. Ready? Let's jump right in. Chapter 1, The Mysterious Luggage. Sophia stepped off the plane, feeling drained from her long flight. The airport was full of people rushing in all directions, some chatting, others hurrying to their gates. She moved through the crowd and made her way to baggage claim. Her black suitcase appeared on the conveyor belt, and she grabbed it, checking the tag. Her name was written there, and she sighed in relief. Finally, home. She called a taxi and sank into the back seat, ready to relax after the exhausting journey. Once inside her apartment, Sophia tossed her jacket on the couch and began to unpack. As she unzipped her suitcase, she smiled, ready to relax. But when she opened it, her heart stopped. This wasn't her stuff. Inside, neatly packed, were strange-looking documents, piles of foreign money, and an old cell phone. Before she could even process what was going on, the phone started ringing. Sophia froze. Who would be calling this phone? What had she just brought home? Chapter 2, The Mysterious Call. Sophia stared at the phone, unsure of what to do. The ringing continued, loud and persistent. Her hand trembled as she reached for the phone. The screen showed a number she didn't recognize, and the caller ID didn't help at all. She hesitated for a moment, then answered. "Hello?" Sophia said, trying to sound calm. There was silence on the other end for a few seconds before a deep voice spoke. "You've found it, haven't you?" Sophia's heart raced. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice shaking. The voice on the other end didn't respond immediately. Then, in a low tone, it said, "You have something that belongs to us. Don't try to run. We know where you are." Sophia's mind raced. Who was this? What had she just stumbled into? Was it a mistake to answer the phone? Her thoughts were interrupted by a loud knock on her door. Chapter 3, The Unexpected Visitor. Sophia froze at the sound of the knock. Her heart pounded in her chest. She looked at the phone in her hand, still buzzing with an unknown number. Should she hang up? Should she open the door? Another knock, louder this time, brought her back to reality. The voice on the phone echoed in her mind. "We know where you are." She stood up quickly, trying to gather her thoughts. Who could be at the door? What did they want? She slowly walked toward the door and peeked through the peephole. Standing outside was a man in a black suit. He looked serious and almost threatening. His eyes met hers through the peephole, and he didn't blink. Sophia's pulse quickened. What should she do now? The man knocked again, more urgently. "I know you're inside," he said, his voice muffled through the door. Chapter 5. A Dangerous Choice. Sophia stood frozen at the doorway, unsure of what to do. She glanced back at the strange suitcase, then at the man before her. His urgency was clear, but could she trust him? What if this was all a trap? But the man's eyes were filled with desperation. "You don't have much time," he said again, his voice softer now. "They're coming for you." Sophia hesitated for another moment, then made a decision. "Okay, I'll go with you, but you have to tell me what's going on." Without a word, the man stepped back and motioned for her to follow. Sophia grabbed her coat, quickly locked the door behind her, and stepped out into the cold night. She had no idea where she was going or what would happen next, but something inside told her this was her only chance. They moved quickly through the dark streets. Sophia kept glancing over her shoulder, half expecting someone to appear. Chapter 6. Into the Unknown. Sophia walked quickly behind the man, trying to keep up with his brisk pace. The streets were empty, the only sound being their footsteps echoing in the cold night air. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, but every time she turned around, there was nothing there. The man glanced over his shoulder. "Stay close," he instructed, his voice sharp. "Don't look back." Sophia nodded, but her curiosity was growing. Who were they? Who was chasing her? And what was so important about the suitcase? They arrived at a small, unmarked door in an alley, hidden from view. The man knocked twice, then a series of numbers on a keypad. The door clicked open, and he motioned for her to step inside. "This is where it begins," he said. "No turning back now." Sophia hesitated but stepped in. She had already made her choice. Chapter 7. The Hidden Room. As Sophia stepped inside, she was greeted by a dimly lit room. It was small and felt like something out of a spy movie. Metallic walls, minimal furniture, and the smell of old paper and technology. A large desk sat against one wall, cluttered with monitors, files, and strange gadgets. The man closed the door behind them and locked it. "This is where you'll learn the truth," he said, his voice much calmer now. Sophia looked around, feeling both awe and fear. "What is this place?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "A safe house," he replied, And now it's your safe place too. They'll stop looking for you here for a while. Sophia's mind raced as she took in her surroundings. What kind of danger had she gotten herself into? And why had she been the one to find the suitcase? The man sighed, noticing her confusion. You've already started the journey. You can't turn back now. Chapter 8. The Truth About the Suitcase. Sophia sat down at a small table, still processing everything that had happened in the last few hours. The man, now sitting across from her, pulled the suitcase closer. He glanced at her and then slowly opened it, revealing a stack of papers and several small, strange-looking devices. Are those... Sophia started, her voice trembling. What's all this? He nodded. These are pieces of a puzzle that, if solved, can change everything. But it's not just about the suitcase. It's about what's happening to you, to us, and to the world. Sophia stared at the contents of the suitcase, her confusion growing. What do you mean? The people after you, he explained. They want to control this information. They'll do anything to keep it hidden. But you have the key to stop them. Sophia didn't fully understand, but she knew one thing for sure. Her life would never be the same again. Chapter 9. A Dangerous Revelation. The man leaned forward, his eyes intense. Sophia, the truth is, the suitcase holds classified information. Information about a global conspiracy that could destroy everything we know. The people after you, they want to silence anyone who gets too close. Sophia's heart raced as she processed his words. What kind of conspiracy? What do they want with me? The man's gaze softened, but his tone remained urgent. You're not just a random target. You were chosen because you have something they need. A connection to someone inside their organization. A person who's been working undercover, feeding us information for years. Sophia was overwhelmed. Her mind spun as she tried to understand. So, what now? What do I do with all of this? You don't have much time, he replied quickly. We need to get this information to the right people before it's too late. Are you ready to fight for your future? Sophia nodded, taking a deep breath. It was now or never. Chapter 10. The Decision. Sophia stood up, her hands trembling as she took in the weight of the decision in front of her. The room felt smaller now, as if the walls were closing in with the gravity of the moment. She had always been an ordinary woman, with ordinary dreams, but now her life had turned into something she couldn't recognize. Are you sure you're ready? The man asked, watching her closely. Sophia took a deep breath. I have no choice, do I? He shook his head. No, you don't. But you're not alone. We'll get through this together. Sophia nodded, the weight of her decision settling in her chest. She looked at the suitcase once more. Then let's do this. With that, they made their way out of the safe house, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. Sophia had chosen her path. Now, all she could do was trust that she had made the right one. Chapter 11. The chase begins. As Sophia and the man moved through the dark alleyways, the urgency of their situation became real. The weight of the suitcase seemed heavier now, as if it was carrying the burden of their lives. Sophia's heart raced, and every sound around her felt amplified in the quiet night. "We need to move faster," the man whispered, glancing nervously over his shoulder. Sophia nodded, her legs trembling. "Who are these people after us? What do they want?" The man didn't answer right away. Instead, he pulled her into another alley, away from the main street. "It's a group with power everywhere. They don't just want the information, they want control, and they'll stop at nothing to get it." Sophia's mind raced, her pulse quickening. She had been thrown into something far bigger than she ever imagined. Was she ready for this fight? She had no choice but to trust the man and move forward. Chapter 12. A dangerous betrayal. The night grew colder as Sophia and the man approached a hidden safe house. The sense of urgency intensified with each passing minute. Sophia could feel her anxiety building. She wasn't sure who to trust anymore. The man had been her ally, but now doubts were creeping in. Could he really be trusted? As they entered the safe house, Sophia noticed something strange. The door was already open, slightly ajar. She froze. "Stay close," the man said, his voice low. Sophia's instincts screamed at her to run, but she held her ground. They stepped into the dimly lit room, only to find another man standing there, waiting. "Who is he?" Sophia asked, her voice shaky. The man smiled coldly. "I'm sorry, but I think it's time you learned the truth." Before she could react, the man pulled a gun from his jacket. Betrayal hit Sophia like a wave. She couldn't believe it. She had been deceived. Chapter 13. The Final Escape. Sophia's heart pounded in her chest as the man pointed the gun at her. Everything seemed to slow down, and she could feel her breath becoming shallow. She had trusted him, fought alongside him, and now he was the one who was betraying her. But she wasn't going to let this be the end. With lightning speed, Sophia dove to the side, knocking over a table in her path. The gunshot rang out, but she was already moving, using the chaos to her advantage. She scrambled for the door, her mind racing. There had to be a way out. There was always a way out. Sophia found herself on the streets once more, her body trembling but determined. She didn't know who could be trusted anymore, but she knew one thing for sure. She wasn't going down without a fight. As the sirens wailed in the distance, she vanished into the night, ready to fight for her life, for her future, and for the truth. Wow, Sophia made it out, but her fight is far from over. What do you think will happen next? How do you think she will deal with the betrayal? I want to know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed the story and subscribe to the channel for more adventures like this. Oh, and if you want to improve your pronunciation, go back in the video and try to repeat the sentences. This is called shadowing, and it's one of the best ways to practice and improve your speaking. Try doing this every day to see fast progress. If you think this video can help you, save it to your favorites so you can come back and practice again. Repetition is key to fluency. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Don't stop now. You're on the right path. See you in the next video.